Hey everyone, welcome to the video today. I do want to take a look at Bitcoin. I want to take a look at what's going on in the market. I really have kind of stayed away most of the weekend, and it doesn't look like a whole lot has happened. We did a couple swings over the weekend, and I kind of want to take a look at it and see what I think might be going on this week. It's the 8th of June. It's about 9:30 in the morning. Stocks are going to start opening up here in about 2 minutes. So I might be a little distracted, but let's go ahead and take a look and see. Before I get into any of this, of course, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But one thing that's for sure is the technicals, they usually don't lie. So let's go ahead, excuse me, and take a look at good old Bitcoin. So let's see here. We've got our chart. We've got all fancy stuff here. Let me move this up a little bit so we can see all of our indicators. Perfect. All right, so basically what I want to focus on right now, I labeled this this video Consolidation Central because, that's really what we're doing. We're consolidating. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to a different exchange. I'm going to move to the Coinbase chart. Get rid of this little guy here. What I want to focus on, I want to go to, let's say we'll go start at like a 6-hour time frame and see what we've got going on here. And I want to kind of expand this. Take a look here, because what I can see is we're just in a really boring range of consolidation. And it goes from about right here all the way down to about right here. So a couple things that we can see. Let me go ahead and extend this back a little bit. We've got liquidity on both sides of this. So, and by liquidity, what I mean is you have demand of buyers below and you've got demand of sellers above. And we've seen this even all the way back here in February. We've seen this. So if we take a look here, we've got liquidity pull to the upside, created a head and shoulders, and then we fell. Then over here, we've got a little bit of liquidity up here to the upside, where we saw some selling pressure enter the market again. So this is sort of like our boring range. Okay, I see this as being, basically an area where you can easily get just ruined in leverage trading if you are a leverage trader. I don't recommend doing really high leverage up here in this area because, even if I take this all the way to the very top and work my way over and work my way down here to the bottom, okay, so basically what I'm looking at is I'm looking at these wicks here. I'm looking at this guy right here. I'm also looking at this guy right here, which bottomed out at about the same area. So this is important. This is an important support zone for us. And so this takes us down to, let's see, the bottom of that was about 92.81. And over here, the bottom was 92.70. So we can say that 9,300 safely is tremendous support, right? I would say 9,300. I've been saying this for a while. If you've been on the Discord, I've been talking about 9,300. So let's just get 9,300 outlined here as close as we can. So that's going to be about right. And I can actually edit this and make this a little more accurate. So 9,300 is enormous support. So as long as that holds, 9,300. And as long as we continue to have hourly candles closing, and I know I'm looking at a 6-hour right now, but as long as we have hourly candles closing above 9,300, I say we're still bullish. Until that breaks, I'm going to go ahead and maintain a slightly bullish stance. And, it is what it is. Do I want it to go down? Well, yeah, I want it to go down. But, again, kind of zooming out into this guy, the top that we have here, I don't really have reason to say that this is proper distribution. As we go lower, we get brought back back into the range. And you can see based on the high that we had from back here and the low that we've defined as 9,300, we're currently trading on the bottom half of this. So again, if we start closing above 9,900 again, if we start closing above 9,900, this is even more bullish for me right now. You know, again, looking at the 6-hour time frame, just kind of going back down here for where we bottomed out, all the way back here on March. And this bottomed out on Coinbase at about 3,900, 3,850 or so. You know, we've been talking about this count for quite some time. So basically, what we've sort of determined is we've got a nice rising wedge here, right there, and that did break down. So I would say this is, you know, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that breaks us up into a 1, and then we come down here for the 2, and then we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3. And the question is whether we've completed the 4 yet. I believe that we have, and we should be going up for a 5. Okay, so let me just outline this again. We're just kind of doing this clean. So we've got our first wave up here. We have our second wave here, and you know, you can see we have an A, B, and then a C into here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, 4, 5. So there's our 3, and then it could be that we have just a little bit of a flat, like an A, B, C right here. So that goes into the 4, and we should be putting in the 5. And as far as the 5 goes, we've been talking about this for a while. We've been talking about this going potentially up to as high as 11,000. But the longer that we go, the lower that I think we're going to peak for this. It could be that this comes all the way up here to about 11,000. Seems logical for us to try and make a good punch on this. Hey Todd, good morning. How are you? It seems logical that we make a punch up to 11K. You know, we still have to kind of wait and see what happens. Let me get rid of this guy. He's a little big. All right, we'll get rid of those. We know that we have this range up here that we're currently consolidating inside of. And again, this leans more bullish to me that we're still consolidating above 9,300. Okay, and again, you can see where we dip below 9,300, it gets bought up, right? We had our resistance right here, but we pushed through it. And then we push through it again, and then we push through it again, and we are finding resistance up here at the 10,400, 10,500 level. And I think if we get close to it again, I think we're just going to continue blowing through it. And the reason why I say that is everybody is thinking that we're going to get rejected there again if we go back to it. And you know, I actually tend to disagree here. I think that if we do go back up into the $10,000 range, we're probably going to blow through it and maybe make that push for 11,000. Originally, I was looking at 11,500. I don't know if we're going to get that high. Because we do have to pull back eventually. We know crypto is ran by algos, and you know, we do have resistance up here at the 618 to the 65. We know that that's sitting there, and we know that that's waiting for us. If we zoom all the way back out to where we had our top up here at 13,800, let's just see what we've got here waiting for us. So we're going to get our fib retracement. Try and peg this at the top of this range as close as I can, and I can make some adjustments if I need to, but it's pretty approximate. And then down here to the bottom. Now on a log scale, we're pushing up against the 786. If I move to a linear scale, we're basically getting rejection here at the 618. And let me just go ahead and throw in the 65 in here and see what the golden zone looks like. So let's get our 65 on here. I don't have a preset for it, so let me just throw the 65 on this. So our 65 was at 10,376, and we pretty much got rejected from it. We got all the way as high as 10,428. Okay, so we did overextend above the 65 just a little bit, but so far we're staying below there. But this is defining a very clear range for us. And again, above 9,300, bullish. Below 10,400, I mean, that's going to be our resistance that we need to push through right now. But we've tested that same level a couple times already, right? So we tested this particular level back here on October 26th. We've tested it back here numerous times around February 13th, right around Valentine's Day. We tested it again just a couple days ago on June 1st, and we're still bullishly consolidating above 9,300. So again, I'm not going to beat this horse dead. I'm just going to keep it real. Above 9,300, I'm bullish. Below 10,400, I do kind of have to be a little bearish. So I'm neutral. I'm neutral right here until we can break one of these two areas. If we push through 10,300, then I think that we're probably going to go to 11. If we push below 9,300, then I think we're going to probably make our way back to about 6,000. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that this is a 5. I don't think this is the completion of the 5. What I think this is from the 4 is a 1, 2, and then we're going to be making our 3, 4, 5 to complete this move. And maybe we do make it all the way up here as high as 11,005, 11,007. That I don't know yet. I do know that this yellow trend line is important resistance, and this goes all the way back. If I go to a daily time frame for a moment, this goes all the way back to our all-time high, and then we have our peak high back in June of 2019, and we're hitting that yet again, right? So if we can push through this guy, this is big. If we do push through this, I can see this being the start of a crazy move to the upside. So I don't want to get too bearish, but I don't want to get too bullish. So right here in this particular range, I'm just a little neutral. And so I don't want to FOMO into positions. But what I can say, let me move back to, say, an hourly time frame. I want to take a look at our technicals because I said the technicals don't lie. All right, what I can see here is we've got the 12-hour, which has crossed bullish. Okay, so it's okay to have a little bit of a bullish bias. The hourly is retreating, but the price is really just kind of moving sideways. The 3-hour looks like it's about ready to cross. It's not quite there yet, but it looks like it wants to cross bearish as well. So if this is a wave 4 still that we are in, and we're looking at an expanded flat, I'm still looking at about 8,800. Okay, so we've got 5 waves, and then 1, 2, 3 waves into the B. So this would be the A, B, and then we'd be coming down for the C to complete this 4. I can see that as still being possibility, maybe going to 85, somewhere like that. The 12-hour really has to cross bearish for me to think that we're going to break 9,300. I say if we break 9,300, we're probably going to go to 85, and that's where we're going to find our completion of our correction. If this is an expanded flat, it makes a lot of sense for this to be the case. So again, going down here to the A, and then the B up here, and then completing the C down here. I could see that as being completely possible. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if that's what happened, but again, I'm just keeping an eye on 9,300. So for just a moment, humor me for just a moment, I want to take a look at Ethereum and see what Ethereum looks like, because alts have looked pretty strong. Very unusual for me. I have been playing alts here over the last week or so, and that's usually not like me. I'm not usually an alts guy. But I have been here recently. We've been looking at Ethereum potentially coming back to 220. We've been taking a look at the support here at 217. But again, just kind of watching this because we've had technical moves that have supported a move back down here, excuse me, to this level. So let's just, and I know that I've got a lot on here. Let me remove some of these guys. But before I do, let's just acknowledge something that I brought up last week. From this 2, so we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 coming back to here, down here, consolidating at the 382, went a little deep, but we hit the algo target almost to the tick, which is that negative 236 extension. So further begs the question, is this move done? Well, I think there's definitely an algo that kicked in right here. We got all the way up here to 252, and we had a nice sell-off there. So I think that we do have to acknowledge that there is resistance right there. Basically we'll call it 250, but the algo target was 250, 281. We do have software is kicking in there, but now we're finding support here at the top of this 3. Okay, so just like Bitcoin, I'm bullish on Ethereum above 225. But again, if this thing doesn't push beyond 250, I'm not going to take any significant positions in it. Just like in Bitcoin, I'm not taking any significant buy positions above 9,300. not until we break up above 10,300. So we've got about $1,000 range that we're just currently ranging in. And, even just taking a look at Ethereum, if this is a very similar range here, you could sell the top, buy the bottom, even if you go into this small range that we've got right here, right? So basically we're kind of just in a very similar range where our median is going to be right here at about 240. We go from 235 to 245. It's just been constant, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now, are we going to get another buy? That's a good question. Usually when patterns like this are recognized is when they no longer are valid anymore, which is also another reason why some traders don't like to publicly air what their strategies are, because once the majority starts to follow them, then they're no longer, an edge, and they no longer work. So that's also another reason why I enjoy being just a little guy on YouTube that not a whole lot of people follow, because I think that the technicals that we've developed seem to work out pretty well, which is why we've talked about these types of things over the past, right? We highlighted these last week where we've got a good buy signal right here, we've got a good sell signal up here, we had a buy signal back here, and let's see here, where did the sell signal kick in? It kicked in right there. We don't have a buy signal on Ethereum just quite yet, but I would imagine it's probably going to come in pretty soon. Again, just looking at this, you can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 for the ABC. So maybe this is only going to come back down to about 240 and then it's going to launch from there. Maybe it won't go back down to 235 range. We're going to have to wait and see. But what we can see is, we have things in overbought conditions up here. So I would expect there to be, again, some more consolidation, maybe a slow bleed, and before this thing finally does start kicking in. I'd love to see Ethereum go back up above 245 and hold above 245. We haven't closed an hourly candle above 245 since back here on June 5th. So again, I want to see Ethereum go back up above 245 before I take any more significant positions in this. Right now, as we start this week, this is Monday. I've been talking here for about 17 minutes now. I'm gonna wrap it up here, but it's just a lot of consolidation in a really boring range. We see, basically a sell-off, and then we see, buying it right back up. So, this could be, some absorption in the market here, but it's really low volume. Look at the volume on this. The most significant volume that we've seen is when we had a major sell-off. The sell-off really did kind of pay, the buy that we saw back up here paled in comparison to the sell that we saw back here. And actually, let's just zoom in this. It's gonna be the last thing that I take a look at here before we end the video. This candle right here was showing significant upward momentum. We can see this by the little arrow here showing that there was a significant amount of buying, but the wick was over 50% of the candle size. So, very likely that there was just a lot of pressure to the upside to go down. So, it kind of expects that when we had such a low volume move up here, all of these asks were already filled. So when we had a low volume move here to the upside, it would make sense that we had significant downward pressure. So watch Ethereum above 250. If it goes above 250, then I do think it has a lot of potential to move up, a significant amount higher, maybe even as close as 300. So even from these prices, there's still money to be made. It's just not as much because you need to have a more volatile move to have a significant profit gain. So we're just going to kind of wait and see. Again, if you're on the Discord, you know that we've just been kind of waiting for some of these indicators to make a direction. The 3-hour looks like it wants to break down, both on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. So just being careful on this, and just waiting for the right move and striking when it makes sense. All right, so those are my thoughts here as we start the week, and I'll continue to do further updates throughout the week as things further develop. But of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, take care, and I'll see you all in the Discord. If you want an invite to the Discord, just throw in a comment here in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. So have a good one, everybody.